All right, today we're going to do a more traditional style class like what some of you all are used to. So grab your mat. This is designed to be just you and your body, but if you do have any props or anything that you want to grab, go ahead and get those together and join me here on the mat. So let's just begin with a few deep breaths in and out through our nose and into our belly. Finding our center. And let's also begin to find our root lock. So bringing our awareness to that area where we go to the bathroom and right between where we do number 1 and number 2. Let's just feel that area. Lift a little bit with our exhales. And feel that squeezing in of our belly as well. Continuing that root lock, let's deepen our breath. We're going to inhale into our belly, open up our ribs, lifting our heart. And with our exhale, we lower our heart, drawing in our ribs and then our belly. So finding our 3-part breath, inhaling belly, ribs, heart, and exhaling heart, ribs, and belly. And just really drawing our awareness to this moment, drawing our awareness to our breath, letting go of judgments of ourselves and others. And keeping our shoulders relaxed, let's just begin to let our chin float up with our inhale and down to our chest with our exhales. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Maintaining that 3-part breath. Now let's drop our chin to our chest, slowly rolling our head from side to side. Bringing our chin back to center. Let's lengthen up, stacking our ears over our shoulders. And we're going to move our whole spine with our breath now. Inhaling up tall, exhale, sinking the belly back, bringing our head forward. Inhaling up tall, exhale, pressing back, rolling through. Inhaling up, exhaling back. Now let's bring it up tall, moving side to side. Just freestyle this. We can keep our legs bent. We can take our legs out wide. In fact, I think I will. And then we're going to inhale, reaching up, lengthening through our spine. Exhale, one hand down in front, one behind. Inhale up, exhale and twist. Moving with our own breath. And let's bring it back to the center. Nice quiet seat. And in our own time, we're going to bring this over to our hands and knees. And just taking a moment to stack our shoulders and wrists, hips and knees. Let's move to a little bit of cat and cow breath here. Inhale as we lift and open. Exhale, rounding it in. Coming back to center. Let's lift through our navel, gazing to the top edge of our mat. Let's extend one leg back, opposite hand forward. Lifting and lengthening. Balancing. Let's bring that back down. Lift and extend. Now let's bring that back. And from here, let's just work our elbows a little bit, twirling them forward and back. And then bring our elbow creases forward. And then just do a few little practice push-ups here, pressing our elbows straight back. And then we'll press back to our child's pose. So we want to extend our hands overhead, separating them out shoulder distance. So we can inhale forward, shoulders over our fingertips. Turn those elbow creases forward again. Lower down just a little bit here at first. Inhale, pushing up. Exhaling back to child's pose. So inhaling as we come forward. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. Remembering to make this our own. We can do a few push-ups before pressing back. If we want more work. And we'll go ahead and make our way back to that child's pose, or if we prefer, tuck our feet, lifting up to downward dog. If we're here, let's draw our shoulder blades together, push them to our hips, hips to the ceiling, and just pedaling our feet. Pressing through the upper pads of our palms, gripping with our fingers. And then we're going to walk our hands and feet together. So we're in child's pose, we'll come up. Everybody finding a forward fold. And with bent knees, let's come up to our mountain. So let's separate our feet out to the edges of our mat today. We're going to press our hips way back. Maybe just a little, maybe a little further. Hands at our thighs or at our heart. And we're going to flow here. Inhaling up, exhale, sitting our hips back. So moving our hips first, even if it's just a little bit. Now let's bring it up, hands by our side, and circle our hips. Let's go the other way. So hopefully we're feeling a little warmed up here. Let's step up to the top edge of our mat. We're going to step back with our left foot. So if our balance is okay, we line up our heels down the mat. Otherwise, we can keep our feet staggered. We're also opening up to that front corner, protecting our hip and a knee. Hands down at our heart or overhead, whatever we're feeling today. Pressing and grounding through both feet, drawing our energy towards each other and up. Let's find that three-part breath again. And let's take it here, opening up, pressing our elbows back, gazing straight ahead. And bringing hands to our hips, let's straighten our front leg. We're going to draw that left hip forward, right hip back. And let's just come forward any amount. If we have a prop, we can use that. Otherwise, let's just hold on to our own body. Keeping a slight bend in our front knee. Letting our head hang forward. Let's bring ourselves up parallel to the floor. So drawing our navel in, our shoulders back, and just letting our right hand come where it lands naturally. Left hand to our hip. Let's open up, going for a stack of our shoulders if possible. Some of us might choose to extend our arm in the air. Just make sure not to reach way back. It wants to come straight up, out from where the shoulder is. Depending on our balance, we may find that we want to try to look up. Let's go ahead and unwind back over our leg. And bringing ourselves up, warrior one. Let's step up to our mountain. Shake it out. This time we're going to step back with our right foot. Again, lining up our heels if that's okay with our balance, opening our toe to the corner and our body to the corner of our mat. Hands down at our heart or overhead. And just feeling ourselves lengthening from the base of our spine out through the crown of our head. Let's go ahead and open our chest. 3-part breaths. And bringing hands to our hips, let's straighten that front leg. This time, right hip comes forward, left hip goes back, and we're coming forward any amount. Feeling that crease at our hip. See if we can let our head hang forward. And lifting from our navel, let's bring our spine parallel to the floor. Again, left hand wherever it naturally lands. And let's open up, looking for that stack of our shoulders. Hand resting at our hip or in the air. Just remember, don't reach way back if you're reaching up. If our shoulders only come to here, then our arm would be right here. And let's release back over our leg. And back up to warrior one. Let's go ahead and step up to our mountain. Get some water here if you need it. Let's find our feet hip distance apart, dropping our tailbone, hugging our navel in and up, shoulders back and down, gazing straight ahead. 3-part breaths. And let's inhale, sweeping up. Exhale to the floor, forward fold. We're going to inhale, lifting up halfway, and exhale, bowing in. So let's step back to our hands and knees for a moment. Stacking our shoulders over our wrists. And we're going to find our cat pose, really separating through our shoulder blades. We're going to step back into our plank from here, lifting, 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 either on our toes, or we can be on our knees. Either way, keep everything lined up, keep lifting through the navel. Let's go ahead and release this for a moment. Shake out the wrists, give them a little bend in the opposite direction or a massage. And we're going to come right back up to where we were, back to our cat pose, lifting for our navel. And let's step back one more time, finding our plank on our toes or our knees. And releasing down, we can lift to child's pose, downward dog, or drop to child's pose. Again, giving our wrists a little break. Let's walk our hands and feet together again into that standing forward fold. Dropping our hips, let's bring it up. So this time, I'm going to turn and face away from you. We're going to bring our feet together in our mountain pose. Think about the thighs squeezing together, tailbone dropping down, crown of the head lifting up. We want to draw our navel in as we press our hips back into our chair pose. Hands at our heart. Lengthening up through the crown of our head. Let's take this over to one side, making sure that our knees are still even with each other. Let's unwind back to center. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart. Pushing our hips way back and twisting toward the other side. Keeping our knees even with one another. And releasing back to front. Shake it out. Maybe even take some of those circles again. We are going to turn sideways on our mat now. Let's circle the other way. And walk our feet away. So we want to wind up a little pigeon-toed, the outer edges of our feet parallel to the outer edges of our mat. And let's just take a forward fold here for a moment. Hinging forward at our hips, head relaxing forward. And let's hinge back up. So we may find that we want to do exactly the same thing again. Or let's squeeze our shoulder blades together, reach back, clasp our hands, and really open up right here. Key thing is to keep the shoulder blades trying to touch and come halfway forward. And as long as our shoulder blades are still touching, we can bring it forward. Just don't let the shoulder blades come apart. On an inhale, let's bring this up. We'll bring our feet back together, hip distant. Thumbs into the top of our pants and knuckles into our waist. And let's find a back bend here, lengthening through the crown of our head. Shake it out. So again, get some water if you need it. We are going to move to balance next. So find a spot near the wall or holding on to something that's not going to fall out from under you. We're going to look at our standing balance pigeon. So holding on if we need to, let's just shift our weight over. We're going to lift our leg up, draw it across, and we may just stay right here, hands out wherever we need them for balance. We may be able to bring them in. So from here, we have an option to shift our hips back any amount. Just remember to draw the navel in, lift it up, lifting the chest. Find something in front of you that's not moving to really focus on. Let's release from there. We'll try the other side. So again, just shift the weight over, find something to focus on. Let's lift the leg up and over. And we can stay right here. Here's good. Oops, maybe not. Or we can add that little sit back. All right, let's bring it up. We're going to take it back to the floor now. So in your own time, let's bring it down. We'll start with a comfortable seat. It's an easy seat with one foot in front of the other, grounding our sit bones. And let's again lengthen up through the crown of our head and find our three-part breath. Inhaling belly, ribs and heart. Exhaling heart, ribs and belly. So keeping our legs as they are, or bringing the soles of our feet together. Let's hinge forward any amount, elbows into our thighs. And let's bring it back up. Either keep the legs here or stay at that easy seat. Let's lengthen up and just do an easy twist over to one side. And then we're going to bring it up over to the other side. And let's come back to the center. We'll take both legs out front. Let's fold forward here. We're going to make our way over to our hands and knees now. And we're going to lower all the way down onto our belly for these next few moves. Now let's just begin here, untucked toes, shoulders back and down, coming forward and up. So elbows underneath our shoulders, gazing straight ahead. And just feeling ourselves sink, our shoulders come down and our head up. And we can even take a look over one shoulder and then the other. Let's bring it back to the center and we're going to rest for just a moment here. Stacking our arms, letting our forehead rest on our top arm. Breathing into our belly at this point, pressing our navel into the floor with our inhales. Letting our body sink with our exhales. Let's try a little cobra this time, hands underneath our shoulders. If we need to go back to elbows underneath the shoulders, we'll go back there. Let's shrug our shoulders back and down, inhaling forward and up. So using just that strength of our upper back. Now let's release again and rest. Opposite arm on top. Breathing into our belly. And hands back under our shoulders. Let's shrug it back and down, coming forward again onto our elbows. Shoulders down, head up. Checking in with our lower back, noticing how it feels. And we can lift from here if our lower back doesn't feel it too hard. Releasing through our glutes, dropping our shoulders. Staying on our elbows if we need to, gazing straight ahead. And let's release down and rest one more time here. And we're going to come back up and have a seat. Let's take our legs wide this time. And we're going to lengthen up, square ourselves over one leg, and just hinge forward. So see if we release through the back of our leg, letting our nose come toward our knee. Thinking about sinking with each exhale. Now let's come back to the center again, lengthening up tall, squaring over the other leg, coming forward. Sinking with our exhales. Let's come back to the center. So we're going to bring one foot in. We're going to lengthen up. Press that sit bone into the floor. Let's reach our other arm up to the ceiling, sliding our hand down toward our legs. So keep inhaling for the ceiling. Exhale the other hand toward the foot. And let's just stay open here, reaching for the ceiling. Bring it up and switch sides. So again, pressing through our sit bone into the floor. Let's inhale, reach for the ceiling, and exhale our hand toward our foot. Let's bring it back up. We'll bring both legs together. Hands just behind us. So if we know we're not going to lift up, which we're possibly going to do in a moment, we can come to our fists just a little bit back behind us and roll open from our chest. If we think that we might like to lift up, we're going to turn our fingertips in toward our body and lift our hips, incline plane. We also have the option of placing our feet just in front of where they are, lined up with our hips, and lifting up to our tabletop. In either of these options, let's keep our chin slightly tucked, head resting back. And releasing. Let's come to our easy sit position, one leg in front of the other. I'm going to show you an option that you can try, and that is to bring one foot in and the other leg on top. So easy seat like we were, or this position. Let's inhale up, and we're going to exhale into our twist. If we're here, we actually have the option of hands at the heart, elbow to the outside of the knee. Let's unwind, shake it out. So we're going to come to the other side. Again, easy seat. And we'll take our twist. Or We'll bring that one foot in, other leg on top, where we can take maybe hands to our heart, elbow to the outside of the knee. Let's unwind from here, everything. We're going to go ahead and roll on down to the floor. So let's take support underneath one leg, tuck our tailbone, and roll back. And once we're here, we can shake everything out, hug our knees and rock. We'll just hang out here for a moment, orienting ourselves to the floor. And let's just begin here with our feet in the air, flexing and pointing. Drawing some circles perhaps. And we'll keep our hands at our thighs. Let's open our legs wide. And again, flex and point. Rotating. And we're going to try that pigeon again. We're going to cross one leg over the other. We're going to reach out for our thighs and hug our legs in. So this time we will have that little sit. So this is just what we did balancing, but now we're flipped around the other way with it. So just really feeling how our hip is feeling today. Let's release from here, taking our legs wide again, maybe holding up a little higher this time. Or even taking our hands to the inside of our thighs for a little more opening. Let's bring our feet together. We're going to cross the other leg over this time. And again, reaching straight up for our thighs. Let's hug them in, keeping this one knee in closer than the foot. Relaxing that foot. 3-part breaths. Let's extend our feet back up to the ceiling, opening up one more time. Maybe taking a big toe hold this time and seeing what happens. And let's release. So we're going to bring our feet down by the floor, hands by our side. And we want our hands extended down. We want to walk our feet back until we can feel our fingertips and our heels. So that means our feet are wide enough and they're back far enough. Before we begin to come into our bridge, let's press our elbows into the floor and roll our shoulder blades under, turning our palms up. All right, taking our gaze straight to the ceiling. Let's press into the floor, lifting our hips up and balancing up near our shoulders. So this should give us a little more opening across our chest than normal in this pose. Let's find that 3-part breath. Belly, ribs and heart. And exhale, heart, ribs and belly. And let's roll down, hug it in. So we're just going to take an easy twist now, squeezing our knees together, opening our arms wide, palms down, if our shoulders are okay with that. Let's squeeze the knees together and drop them over to one side. So we just want to work our way. This is a good place for a block if we have one, if our knees don't come all the way down. But we also want to wiggle around until we get both shoulders on the floor. And just breathing as best we can here. It is possible to get a 3-part breath, but it is kind of weird feeling. Let's come back to the center. Again, just rock, shake it out right here. And then we're going to squeeze our knees together again, open our arms wide. Let's take this to the other side. So same thing, let the knees come down as far as they will. Wiggle the upper body until we got both shoulders down. Breathing as deeply as we can. Let's hug in from our navel and come back to the center. And just rock for a moment. We're going to move into our final relaxation at this point. So if there is, again, if there's props that you like to use, go ahead and grab those. And we're just going to do a basic Shavasana here on our back. We can keep our knees up and together, arms by our side. We can extend our legs long. So we can rest our hands on our belly or out by our side. And let's just feel what's underneath us. Feel the support of our floor. Relaxing in our breath, closing our eyes. And just really releasing through our legs. Softening our belly and chest. Feeling our arms go heavy. Rolling back our head. And again, just feeling the support of the floor beneath us. Softening our face. And just enjoying a few moments of rest in our day. When we're ready to come out, we'll wiggle our fingers and toes, taking a few deep breaths into our belly. Let's move up our arms and legs. And take a nice big stretch of our whole body. And we're going to hug in our knees and roll over to one side, keeping our Bottom arm underneath our head for support. Checking in with how we're feeling. Making sure we feel ready. We can take our top hand and help press ourselves up. Come right back to a seat, easy seat. We'll put the opposite leg in front than when we started. And just finding that tall, easy seated pose, grounding through our sit bones, finding our 3-part breath. Checking in with how we're feeling. Let's take an inhale together. Big inhale. Exhaling, hands to our heart. All that is good in light in me honors all that is good in light in you. Namaste.